Hello everyone, I hope this is working as usual, technology. Okay, so thank you for being here, if there is anyone. So I'm very happy to be able to try as much as I can to answer your questions. So you've been quite numerous to come on the forums to ask us quite a few things. And last time you told me that I did not answer enough questions, and not all the questions that you would have wanted to hear about. So what I'm going to do now is to try to answer them as much as I can. So again, 1 hour I will answer 15 or so questions chosen from your list. It's no more random anymore, so we make sure that that we have important, interesting questions. And as you guys come online, I will try also to answer your questions as well. So I will start by a question which is one of the most important ones. When will the game be released? So basically this is a question from Bibble, and the question was actually, is the release date still the same? So the question is, again, it is not, definitely not the same date that we had. We had quite a lot of different dates, but we always push them back quite ahead of time. Originally we were supposed to, I think, to come out in April or May. I kind of lost track when was the first date we wanted to reach. Now I'm happy to announce you that we'll be out September 18th of this year, if all goes well. But from the test we had the past few days, we're extremely happy about what we have. It's a lot of fun. The AI is getting really strong. So we definitely did a lot of also tuning to make the diplomacy more interesting, both in terms of immersion and AI. So anyway, we're proud, we're getting there, and we'll be able also to share with you a new build that we hope to have for you on this coming Thursday. That's Amplimat just confirmed that to me a few minutes ago. That's why also I was a bit late. So I hope you guys will like that. Okay, so that's it for the release date, still the same. I know that was an important question for all of you guys, so I did not want to keep it for the end. Okay, so the next one was from Prop Buddha. Can you tell us some specifics on game mechanics that needed to be changed to implement the games together faction, the cultists of the eternal end? So as we said a few times, we love Nosferatiel to death, but he really was mean to us when he chose that faction. And yes, there were quite a few things that at first actually we didn't think would be a problem. The most obvious one was the one city. The whole game system worked for being with several cities, and you could build as many cities as you want. And the whole fun thing, or not the whole, but one of the funniest thing that with the proposal from NOS was to have only one city and to try to win the game with only one city. So with that in mind, game design wise, we wanted to do it, and the reality was that the AI totally got insane with just having to deal with only one city. The AI always wanted to build more cities. The AI who plays the cultist is was always jealous of the other AIs having more cities than itself. So yeah, it was tricky. I was discussing with Tortillas that you may know from being one of our main AI programmer who was again saying that it was insane to implement so late in game development that cultist faction, at least from an AI perspective. So okay, anyway, it was fun. Okay, so as we have a little delay, and we had questions on from Killing Big Bugs on the chat asking, so you are saying you will release new faction and multiplayer optimization that fast? Okay, keep in mind that I think the last build that you guys have is at least a month old, 3 weeks old, which for us is a lifetime. So yes, you'll have plenty of multiplayer optimizations. I mean, you may still encounter issues, and you know it's always difficult. But we had pretty long games in multiplayer lately. It's good, it's fun. So we're happy about that. And again, if you have any issues, you know, we'll definitely look into them. But yes, it's fun. And looking at the new faction. The new faction will not come on this Thursday, but we'll keep that for the final release. There's a few elements that we keep for the final release, including the cultist faction. Okay, cool. What else? What else do we have? So we have the next question from Firefix15. Will the maps be getting bigger? Okay, so the game is has a maximum of 8 players, and what we did was to create a map to what we believe can be fun with up to 8 players. So far for me as a player, I think large settings with 8 players is fun. I'm not that fond of huge maps with 8 players. I think it's too big. But you guys will tell me, and if we want guys to be a bit bigger for 8 players, we could look into it. We may start to have memory issues, so that's why we have to be careful with that. But it could be possible, and when modding comes, that also will be something that will come, that you guys could do, and we could say at your own risk in terms of memory issues. So we have a question from Lynx. Okay, do we feel satisfied working with 2 different projects at the same time? And what we think about crowdfunding? Okay, so we love to work on more than one project at a time, because both projects and both teams feed one another. So we are a few people to work on the 2 projects, including me and a few others, and then, you know, we have people that are fully dedicated to each project. But it's great because we find fun things on one game that we want to port, or at least the idea of that idea on the next on the other game, and vice versa. So so it's awesome. And just even in terms of narration, we can have different type of narration. For example, like it's with a bit more humor, you know, in one than the other. It's very refreshing. We're not, you know, being locked in just one type of game, one type of universe, one type of everything, and I think in the end both games benefit from that. Crowdfunding. So far, we are definitely not thinking about crowdfunding for the next games, but crowdfunding is, in many cases, could help, you know, if we don't have enough money from the sales of this game to fund the next one. So maybe I can't say never, but it is not as of today, it's not a way that we want to work today. So for the future, so we want to stick to crowdsourcing, with encouraging you to participate in the creation, to make it, you know, something which is we work together to make our next game, but we want it for you to be fun, and if you want to buy the game and support us doing so, it is great. But when you do that, you play the game directly and you can give feedback on that. But we're not so fond to ask you for money ahead of time and then have to deliver a year or two after, or even more on money that you paid a long time ago. And you know what happens if you don't like what we deliver to you years after. If we want to adapt from the original vision things you don't like anymore. That's why for us we definitely believe a lot in the games together more than crowdfunding. Well, that was for that question. Another one? Jasmik. Oh, Mind of Action's heroes to be available in the marketplace. We had that question in the past. We love that idea. We did that with Endless Space. It's not in our list of things to do at the moment because we kind of focus on the release. But it's definitely something we want to keep in mind for the future of the game. Yes, totally. Anyway, there's nothing against it. As we know, we will add new heroes later, and Mind of Actions are a great source of inspiration for that. Okay, another one from Prop Buddha. Hey, Prop. What is the favorite Endless faction at Amplitude office? I can't tell for everyone because I think everyone has a favorite one. Some for visual, others for gameplay reasons. So we all have different visions of the game. So of the factions. My favorite ones, I can tell you, I really I like the Volters, but I like I don't know why I love their visuals. See, they're behind me. I like their story also. The fact that they were this kind of science fiction kind of creators lost in this fantasy universe, and they just missed their blasters, and I think it's a lot of fun. In a way, I could say that I love them all, obviously because I could work very closely with them, and I wouldn't create a faction I wouldn't want to play, but I have this little thing for the Volters. Yeah, so that's for me. But if you ask anyone in the office, I think you will easily go around all the factions that way, with everyone having his own favorite one. Okay, do you have any ideas for further expansions? So yes, we do. So that goes also with another question from Crimson Vegas, and the first one was from Flybird, asking if any expansion or DLC planned in the future, if yes, any discounts for early access players. So I'll take them a bit differently. Plans for further expansion. All I can say is the way we worked with Endless Space. We did, I think, up to 6 free add-ons and 1 expansion pack. That was a paying one. It's more or less the same idea. We'll work with free add-ons, expansion packs. Expansion packs being, a whole chunk of game that we add, and add-ons is more about adding more of the existing or refining the existing. So it's a bit different approaches. The expansion pack requiring more resources from us, and so it's more efforts on our side. But definitely there's a lot of things that we didn't do that we want to do, and that's for example, we talked about that last time, but spying, espionage, sabotage is something we want to do. Sea battles is something that we have in mind. There's a lot of stuff we had in mind. I think a very good system for wonders that I really want to see implemented, because it is very original and it works very well with the kind of game. So the way it would be done would be original. Of course, we've seen wonders in other games like that. So I really hope we'll have the possibility to add it in one way or another post-release. And that's just some of the ideas that we have. But one of the first thing that we'll do a few weeks after the release is to be asking you guys what you want to see as expansions, and it will be also very important to kind of share that with you guys. Okay, next. So it's a question from Devil Dog. Will we see these at release? Wonders. So we won't have unique wonders. We'll have more. Actually, we have a lot more civilization wonders. So that's every kind of people can have once in the empire, but everyone can have it. So that we'll have a lot more at game release. We'll have the cultist at the game release. It's true that a long time ago we told you that we were not sure about being able to deliver them for release. It was also one of the reasons of postponing the game. One, I wouldn't say it's only because there's been many other things we worked on. But the cultist, we wanted to finish them for the game release. And do we have any unannounced things for game release? Well, it's most of the unannounced stuff will be stuff that you'll be seeing next Thursday, I think, which should be including animated screens for diplomacy that we did a lot of work on. We revamped the whole tech tree. We revamped the battle system, or it's just the rules, the way the attack defense works. So we revamped all the items. Their statistics totally been modified up and down. So to have a better feeling of progression in the game, basically. So that has been a lot of stuff that we've been working on also these past weeks. And of course, having to work with AI, also the difficulty should have been way increased. So I hope you will enjoy that. So we had actually a VIP called Einstein that you may know, that saying that finally the endless was a challenge to him. So you will tell me. Voilà. So next question. How many months are you working on EL already? How many people, and on average? That's from Nos actually. As a reminder, when we started Amplitude, we were just two working in an apartment, and we swore that never again we'll have a big team. We wanted to be just a couple guys working on a game. We increased. So I think we've been with external people probably up to 30 people on the team. Especially in the past few months, we've been quite a lot. Most of us here at Amplitude were working on the game on the past 3-4 months. It's been really absorbing a lot of resources. But I would say on average it would be 20-22. Most of the game development. We increased a lot the size of the design team as well. With more and more designers. I think now we are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, designers working on the game. So when we were only 2 at the beginning, so yes, it's been a huge improvement. There's so many variables to work on, and programming-wise, AI-wise, I think we had up to 5 guys working on it. And right now it's like 4 guys working on it. So it's been a huge increase compared to Endless Space, for example. Okay, so we have a question of Stealthhawk about Endless Space. So you're asking if we want to Stealthhawk to continue development of Endless Space. Would it be in the form of more add-ons or Endless Space 2? We definitely don't have plans for more add-ons or no more expansion packs. We know that there's a few things we want to work on Endless Space that we want to add, but I would say it's more fixing a few issues that arose that we didn't have time to fix, that we would love to take the time to fix. So it's more tuning, fixing kind of expansion that we want to do right now for Endless Space. But yes, the Endless Space has been a tremendous success. So It's just that we don't want to work on the same game twice in a row. So if Endless Legend would have been Endless Space 2, I don't think it would have been a good game. It would have been probably maybe a commercial success, but because you guys really liked Endless Space, and we could have got it on you to buy 1.2 again, but that's not our philosophy, and what we want is to take the time to breathe and think before to go back on Endless Space. And with everything that we've seen on Endless Legend that we wouldn't have thought of if we were again in space, next time that we will look at game design for Endless Space, I know that we'll have a totally different perspective that could make the game much richer. So whenever we'll decide to go back to it, I think it will be awesome. So looking forward to it. A little question from Lynx: will we see more biomes in game, like lava, gaseous? Actually, we had lava originally as a biome in the game. We simply removed it because we don't like it visually, mostly. But I think we'll definitely expand in biomes later on. At least we don't have anything against it, but it could definitely also go with if we decide to add a faction, we could also add a biome to the game, for example. So it could be interesting. Okay, next question from Prop Buddha. The marketplace is a distinct feature of Endless Legend, but always seems to be underutilized due to research barriers and superior alternatives. Do you have any plans to make the marketplace more integral to the game? So the marketplace, we've been working a lot on it lately to balance it more in terms of prices, demand, offer, AI, using it, and also technology. So we regrouped a few technologies around the marketplace to make the marketplace technologies way more important than they used to be. Therefore, having more people coming to the marketplace to buy and sell more stuff, so it makes it more accessible to players, more accessible to AI, and therefore more dynamic. I actually myself use it quite a lot on the latest issues to buy units early on in the game, as long as my production is not strong enough to fill an army. And it definitely helps, and it's funny because very early on then it starts to be a little rush on the units on the marketplace, with people competing with prices and buying them at the right time, or actually you can even try to feed the others units early on to make money and use your money to buy buildings, for example. So I'm pretty happy with what we have at the moment. We will definitely need to we could spend years to balance a marketplace like this, but it's fun on the latest editions. I'm pretty happy with it. So, but again, you'll tell me. Okay, Kingsguard. So it was a question that was very important to Kingsguard. So I really wanted to cover this one. Is there any planned work on the armor visual changes after release? At least, will the players be able to customize the visual designs of the units in any way? So it's been a long topic for all of us, at Amplitude. We believe there are two ways to approach it. If you make, we can make we can go for what we decided, and I'll go back to that. But we could have done something like, let's take an example like Diablo, for example. Diablo, more or less every piece of armor, have an equivalent visually, and it's awesome. When you find an armor on the ground, you put it on yourself. You see how awesome you look, and you can also see progress, and how more and more badass you look, and it's great. To be able to do it as well as they do it it is extremely expensive for us, at least at our level, and I would not have personally accepted a quality inferior to what they do, and it's not it's way beyond our reach basically. So one day maybe thanks to you guys, you know, if you guys love the game and the next games will do, and you know we grow bigger and bigger, maybe you know we'll be able to pour millions in that, because I would have been afraid that, you know, what we did was something that looks really like crap, with all the kind of pieces of armor on it. You couldn't tell really what it is, if it is better, worse, and actually having these characters looking like kind of patchworks of things that just don't fit together. Some strategy games try to do that, and I think it looks really bad, and in that case doesn't add to the immersion, neither to the gameplay. Actually, I think it even goes against immersion and gameplay. So that's why we decided to go for what we did, was to impose the visual of the creators. Yet, what I would love to see for Evolutions, but that would be also very expensive, and I can't promise we'll do it, but if the game is successful enough, what I would love to see is that, you know, you could imagine a version of the unit being unlocked, you know, later on in the tech tree that is looking more badass, and it's becoming more advanced version of the first one, and then you could have another evolution. And every once in a while, you know, you have just set evolutions that looks very visually good because we plan for them, and you know, and they don't look like what they were, but more or less of the power they have. Or you know, which tier of weapon they are carrying, kind of. So this is something we could imagine, and but it is expensive, not as, you know, as expensive, you know, as the whole customization that we will see on Diablo. So anyway, I understand that some of you want that. We'll keep that in mind, but with the means that we have, we need to be able to do something, you know, that we can control and that support both gameplays and good visuals. ProBuddha. So again, do you plan on hosting more players versus dev multiplayer games after release? Definitely, for plan. We don't have plans for it because I think, you know, plan side is not that good, you know. For now, we just all we're looking at is release date, but we love doing that. So we'll have more of them, definitely, even maybe before release. So we'll keep you posted on that. Probably Stephanie will let you know when we can have more of them. So next, from Purple. Okay, one thing I've noticed is that on maximum map zoom, the map just absolutely looks like a board game board. How did you accomplish that? Obviously, it was our intent, but I can say it was not our original intent. The original intent was just to make a good-looking, you know, terrain. We wanted to have it look very natural. Very immersive, you know. I wanted to see a world, you know, I could believe in, you know, and by doing so, what we did, we looked like any other game, and on top of that, it was impossible to understand kind of the game rules, you know, the units where they were situated, whether they're on the mountain, whether they're on the ground. We knew we wanted to have, you know, different altitudes, different biomes. Really looked like not crap, but just looked so generic that we didn't want to do it. And then, you know, we knew that, you know, we had a very board gamey approach in many of the rules, you know, that we set up in the game. When we think of rules, we always think, is it a rule that I could explain to a friend? You know, like playing board games, you know, we want to explain the rules very quickly. You know, we don't want to spend half a day to explain the rules of how a game works. So that's very much in our philosophy. So we decided to go for something which would more assume the hexagons and the heights more stylized. So and pretty happy with the result. Actually, the first time we saw it, the whole team just, I don't know, at the time it was maybe 8-10 of us just stayed behind. The artist doing that was like, wow, that's the game. That's who we are, and then we got stuck to that. We were a bit afraid that people would not like it. So far, it seems like people like it, so I'm very happy about that. A question from Jazz Mick. Have you thought about rewarding unit heroes in combat with wands and capacities skills apart from the XP? It is not something we have planned. It's not in our list. There are quite a few things we would love to work on one day. Is kind of to feel basically more rewarded, not punished. That's why I'm not a fan of wands. I like the way it works. When a hero loses a battle, he goes back, to the academy, and then you have to pay a big chunk of money or wait for it to come back. But I think we could go further with rewards, but this is something that probably we'll have to look into more expansions of the game than definitely as it is today. Well, we'll see after release. Okay, next question is, so what do you guys think about releasing a digital art book like we did in ES? We'll definitely want to do that. We are big fans of the art we did in the game. We know that many of you guys love it too. So we definitely will want to do that, and at least for us, we even want to print a few copies as we did for our Endless Space, just for the people who worked on the game, and a few very dedicated players. We shared a few physical copies of the art book, so we'll want to do that. Totally. Just no idea when. Last time it took quite a lot of time to one of our artists to work on the art book, so we'll see then. Okay. Question from Killing Big Bugs. On the roadmap, it says you are adding flying units. Does that mean like an airship or waters? No. Basically, at the beginning, the air units, the flying units, like the dragons, were only working as working units, basically. Now they don't. They have, you can see you can make flying, armies if you want, and you can go above ridges. You can do quite a lot of things way differently. Even in battles, actually, you can attack people who would think they would be protected from their heights. So it is. That's how we modified it. Now that's to make sure we have different behaviors. So flying units really behave as flying units in the world and in battles. But we don't have more than that. But you can imagine that the dragons being, kind of a dragon ascent. Obviously, we need to have a specific gameplay with flying units, and that's what we did with how they move in game battles and world. Other question from Tesaflux. Have you considered to add something like natural wonders, anomalies to the game? So we do have. I'm ashamed to say only one. We had more before, but the others became what we call rare anomalies. And we have a few rare anomalies, and we have one natural wonder, which is the golden tree. Normally, you should have only one appearance of it. It is extremely powerful, and people usually die to have it. Around them. So it's a really good one. But now there's the whole support to add it, add some more of them post-release. So definitely things we can easily do now. And actually I do want to do more of that. Just that next time, I think what we want to do is to make sure that you know when you find one of them around you, like so you don't so there's more or less an event around it. It's not something minor. It's a natural wonder. So, but anyway, post-release, it's the whole unique elements is something that we want to work on. Wonders, natural wonders, all that is something that we definitely want to improve on post-release. Okay. What do you think of achieving diplomacy through quests? Given by another faction or by you. This is from Avid Supporter. I think it was coming from you, actually, that suggestion. Anyway, I don't know who suggested it. I guess it was Avid Supporter. I think it is an awesome idea. And actually, no, we didn't think of being able to give handouts quests to players or receive them from other players or AI. I love the idea. I think it will be ambitious. We'll definitely look into it for one day. It just sounds awesome and would be sad not to consider it for further expansions. So very, very, very good suggestion. We keep it with us for later. Will there be a Mac version of the game before the release? From Enemy. Yes. I think Thursday. We want to be able to release a test version of the Mac. I think for OS 10.8 and above, so it's 10.9. So it's really for a small portion of them. Although we would love to have more or less everyone who has a Mac try them. We have a few issues. We think it is probably due to updated drivers or not updated drivers. But anyhow, everyone who has a Mac who want to try the test version will hand out this week, end of the week. Please try them and don't be mad at us if it doesn't work yet. We want to get as much feedback as we can. And if it doesn't work, it's great to tell us that it didn't work, and then try them with updated drivers, and to be able to tell us how it improved or not. That would be awesome. So anyway, we're looking so much for all this kind of feedback. But yeah, fortunately it will be for the end of the week. We have a question from Bible, which is: despite anomalies and feeds, do you plan to make some terrain type useful for battle strategies? So I wanted to take the time to maybe talk about the battle system. And actually that was linked to the next question that we had. So it will be a bit longer. It will take a bit more time on that side, and then we'll go back to the questions on that you have on the thread. More on the chat. So please, if you have questions on all the questions we discussed earlier on stuff we didn't cover, please ask them now, and then we'll take 10 more minutes to answer them. Anyhow, battles. There are a few things I want you to know. First of all, we reviewed the formula. We discussed with the VIPs and with Vyosha to review the system. The way it will work is it will be easier to predict. You will more or less do more damage than you used to do before, especially if you go up with air equipment. Will also be easier to predict what will happen. We're also working on the feedback on that, and as it is of today, when one of your units attacks someone else, one of four things can happen. Can have critical damage, normal damage, which is most likely if you have a better attack than them, especially twice better than their defense. Then you have, kind of a failed attack, but you still do half damage. And then you have a critical failure. To have a critical failure, this is only possible if the others has a big defense. And to have a critical damage, it's only possible if you have a really strong offense compared to their defense. In case of more or less close defense and attack, you won't be able to do a critical damage. And the more you have a difference between your attack and your defense, the more you'll be able to pass your attack, and then your damage will be defined by the unit itself and the weapon of the unit, and maybe modifiers that you may have on your equipment that will be added to your weapon and the unit. So it is a bit different than before. That's the basics, and we'll create a thread if you want for you on the forums to give you more details about the formula itself. Now, what I want you to also to keep in mind is that terrain is extremely important. First, the heights. So the heights will help you to deal more damage to the others when you are on top. So you want to always be, on top. So of a hill, of a mountain, and so that's important. Always have the higher grounds. Then, if you are in the forest, you can decrease the damage. Right now, it's like 30%, I think, decrease from every blow that you'll get. You also want to be in a city. The city will increase the morale of your troops. And what the morale does is, like, every point of morale will give you 10% increase in your attack and your defense. I have to check that, which I've got a few times the rules. But anyway, the morale will increase the way your stats, basically, and basically you want to have the more morale. And the two ways to change that is cities, or to have one of your own units beside you at the beginning of the turn, beginning of the round in combat. So the best is to try to keep your armies grouped, to have the most morale as you can, and to have the higher ground. And when you have both higher ground and units stacked together, you can have the better stats, especially if you are on top of the forest or a city, and this can become like really, really, really strong position to win the battle. So that's why it's really about which units you have and where you put them. With that system, also, it definitely encourages you to keep units coherent together as a front line against the enemy. And trying to break actually a line will also divide their bonuses from morale. So it could be also a very interesting way to try to win a battle. So that's also very important. Also, check the weapons. Like for example, lances. Are give double damage against knights. So against cavalry. So weapon families could be extremely strong against unit types. And sometimes you can try to have unit types really good against the same unit types, like cavalry good against cavalries, infantry good against infantry good against supports, and all depends which type of units you design. So designing your units will also depends influence a lot the battles. If you do twice the damage with some type of weapons, it could be worth it. Okay, that's for the battles. If you have more questions about the battles, unless you have already one now. So anyway, I will go back to some of the questions you asked on the chat. So we have a question from Jasmik, talking about diplomacy between factions. Will the use of influence points remain balanced as it is? Did you think about diplomacy with minor factions? Okay, no, the balance of the actually we did modify the influence points from what you offered. Well, we have today. Sorry, it is diplomacy is cheaper in terms of influence points as it used to be. It's nearly twice cheaper. Not really, I think. Maybe a third to half the price as it was. So it is much more fluid as it used to be. Anyway, we'll wait on your feedback on that. But I kind of like it the way it is. I'm more and more enticed to use diplomacy and the AI as well. It's way more fluid. Basically, we did a whole pass of make it easier to use the systems like the marketplace, as we said before. We stuff are cheaper. You want to buy them more, therefore you want to sell many more, and and then it kind of works by itself. The same with influence. You're definitely encouraged to go and use your influence. So now we don't have plans more than integrations for minor factions. I don't see that coming for expansions, unless there's something extremely specific. I would prefer to expand on the integration system as it is today. I think it's a lot of fun. I love to create, different type of faction with different integrations. And if you imagine that, with more minor factions we add to the game, the more combos we can make. And so I think there's a lot that can be done there, and I just definitely love that concept. We had another questions from CBR13. Are you satisfied with the current state of heroes? I love the ways the trees work. I love that. I think it's a great system when when you see a hero, by its class, by its faction, what it will be able to do. And gives a lot of different possibilities. So now we always tuning some of their abilities, some being way too powerful. For example, on the wild workers, they had production abilities that were extremely powerful, especially combined to other production abilities, and people were kind of fighting for the wild workers heroes. Obviously we reduced or changed actually some of their abilities, so that's stuff we do. We'll keep doing after release. Some others, they had specific abilities that were adding flat bonuses that were kind of worthless. So we always need to review that. But for that, it's the more you guys play, the more feedback we get. The easier it is, to know where what you guys use a lot and what you don't ever use. And obviously, if you don't use it, it means it's useless and it needs to be improved. So that's also what we did with the pass on the tech tree. It's like we looked at what we use, what we never use, what you guys use, it's more dense, more compact, more powerful. And now, particularly, you want to get every technologies. So that's what we want to achieve for every kind of tech trees too, skill trees. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So links, you're asking if we can see any active skills in Heroes skill tree. Definitely not for release. We, as you all know, I think, or you may be aware, we removed active abilities in battles. It was for us too much micromanagement in battles. We wanted players to stay, as an emperor, a general, not a sergeant, and having to click all the time. And we want to be able to be a bit more relaxed, with the way battles happen. It's really about planning strategic, not too much a reflex on when to play, you know, your active abilities. Yet it is true that, and maybe it was you who proposed that on the forums, but we really like the idea of maybe having just heroes' abilities that we could use. So we have to think more about it, so it does not become tedious micromanagement. So it could be used also, for example, as we did with Endless Space, for you know, auto battles. So we could plan ahead, you know, which ability we want to use from the heroes, if we want to use it or not. So, something to think ahead of time. You know, if we force manual battle all the time because you have to use your hero active ability, then, you know, it doesn't make the battles more fun. You know, some battles you just want to play them auto play because, you know, you're obviously winning. You know, you have 10 units, I have 2 units. You know. Anyway, you could tell me, well, obviously in that case, you know, I wouldn't use my hero ability anyway. So. I don't know. Anyway, we definitely want to look into it, to make a long story short. Cool. Dark Messiah, welcome back. So, asking how Dungeon is progressing. Good question. So, you know what? If you guys don't mind, I would love to give you news about Dungeon as well. And multiplayer set to 4 only, or 2 4 players. Okay, good questions. Thank you, Dark Messiah, for these questions. Dungeon is progressing very nicely. For the ones who were at Gamescom, you know, we announced that, you know, the game will also be on Xbox One. We're extremely happy about it. Actually, we first designed the game as being a pad game, so it's awesome. So we're working on that. The game definitely, you know, it's been a bit slower with the release of Legend. You know, a lot of focus being on Legend, a lot of, you know, all the programmers nearly like swallowed, you know, like to fix bugs on Legend and helping people here and there. So, but anyway, no, it's definitely advancing nicely. There's been an update last week, actually, for I don't know if Dark Messiah, you were able to play the last update we did. We still, you know, kept a few things for the final release. You know, we want to make sure that, you know, we have surprises for you, like, you know, final levels and stuff like that, storytelling, you know, the whole unlock album system that, you know, we're adding to the game that we love. There's a whole layer to the game that you definitely want to keep for the release, because it's a lot of fun, and you know, if we give you everything today, you know, wouldn't be as much fun, you know. So when you see the final release, it would just be a number, and it wouldn't be, you know, no surprises. So anyway, good stuff coming. Looks good. I like it. Will I be able to use my Xbox gamepad for the Dotty on my PC? Oh, okay. So we are using Xbox pad on PC to work on, you know, on the controls for the Xbox version. That's how we started, you know, before to move on the Xbox. So I don't know. I have to see actually if not even possible yet. Actually, I have to ask the guys. But anyway, we do it. Maybe somewhere there's little things to activate if it doesn't work naturally. So we'll let you know. But if yeah, definitely. I mean, it should be the case for the game release, and if not, it will be shortly after release. You know, we'll make sure, you know, you can play with the pad if you want. Especially, well, the thing is, if you look at the Xbox version that we're working on, we know that, you know, we must modify a bit the interface of the game so it's nicer with the pad. So I'm not sure that, you know, we'll pass these modifications to the PC version. So anyway, so I don't want to advance myself too much on that, but anyway, we play with the pad today on the PC version. Okay, so Dark Messiah and Prop Buddha, 2 more questions, and I think we stop there. Dark Messiah, you guys said you'd added more immersion to diplomacy. Does that mean dynamic pictures similar to the trailers? Yes, that's the idea. Basically, when you see someone now, you see them. Well, the same image that you had before, you know, in diplomacy. That's what you'll see, but animated. So you know, they're moving a bit around. I mean, it's 2D, so you know, they can only move kind of like this. You know, they can't turn around and do crazy stuff. You know, but it looks really nice. Looks really cool. Totally coherent with the rest of the game, with the introduction, you know, that we had of the factions. I'm very happy that we did that. It looks really, really nice. We didn't add particles to these 2D screens, but I would have loved us to do it, but I don't think we'll be able to. But anyway, animations, they're in. We're finishing the last ones. And I think it looks awesome. I'm very happy with that. Pro Buddha, who's the best EL player at Amplitude? Okay, and I challenge them to play Einstein. No. We don't want to be humiliated. Einstein is our master, you know, playing the game. So I did challenge him to play to win at Endless, and I thought he would never win. He won, so I'm disappointed. So I need to think of making it harder for him, you know. So he must meet defeat, you know, one day, you know, at maybe a very endless level. So definitely work on defeating Einstein through the AI. I wouldn't do it personally. Last quick. Oh, sorry, Dark Messiah, 2-player minimum for dungeon. Yes, you can play with 2 players. With 2 players dungeon, you can. And that in that case, you can have up to 2 heroes each. So you can play 2, 3, or 4 players in dungeon. So yes. Voilà. So to conclude, we said that the game will be released September 18th. So we didn't announce it to anyone else yet. Well, you know, the guys of the VIP forums, you know, knew it already, but yeah, wanted to tell the community first. You guys are the first ones to know, and crossing fingers so we don't have some crazy stuff happening that we would have to postpone again. But if it all goes, you know, as it is now, we should be good. Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you for being here and listening to my bubbling, blah, you know, whatever noises I made for the past hour. And I hope it was informative for you guys. Bye, everyone.